That's awesome. And yeah, you keep bringing up scarcity, and so many people live in scarcity instead of abundance. And I live in abundance. Like, I look at, like, there's enough of everything. I'm never going to run out. Like, I can create anything I want. There's enough food. Like, just enough of everything. There's enough love. There's enough peace. There's just enough of everything. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Infinite Abilities Podcast. I am your host, Nick Yerhart, and we are here to encourage each other to find our own unique abilities. Let's go. All right, everyone. So today I have Jeremy, and he is awesome. I can't wait for you to hear his story because he's got a whole lot to say. All right, Jeremy, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So if I go way far back, I was an only child. I was really like sensitive and energetically confused in the sense of everything that I was kind of in touch with, but didn't have the tools to understand at the time until looking back. So I kind of grew up a lone wolf, didn't really like to participate in a lot of the social things. Kind of a rebel, but had to be a good kid. So I had that like inner conflict of I couldn't outwardly display how rebellious I was against being in school and being forced to learn all the things I didn't want to learn and all that because I had to be a good kid. So there was that kind of inner fire that once I was kind of free of the school system, I was finally able to get in touch with. And so after high school, during college, I got a job at SpaceX where I was a technologist and marketing, technology, production. Incredible. And then after SpaceX, I really kind of dove into what I would call my soul's work. It's something bigger than me, visions that really propelled a adventure is the best way I can put it, into the unknown and into like a mission that would create the company that I'm creating called the Passion Company. And that's where we are today.
That's so awesome. And yeah, I remember, the last time we talked, you told me about SpaceX.
Yes.
And you've actually met Elon.
Yes.
So that's, cool, because it's not every day I get to talk to someone who met Elon Musk. That's a pretty big deal. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
And, I can tell you loved your time there, which is incredible.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better kind of, first paid job experience working there in that atmosphere. And like Elon Musk, he had started he made his money through PayPal, right?
Yep.
But he wasn't really like what he is now, like as a public figure and all of that. So I really, you get the sense of the intensity, in especially like the company meetings, and he's painting the mission and the vision really passionately and gets you really fired up. So it's like you know that it's history, but you don't know, if that makes sense, until like now where it's like out there and everyone knows it. But back then it was like, oh, you could feel it and experience it. But like it's that energy that is, nothing really compares to that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine because I've only seen him online, and I've listened to his book documentary. It's like I can't remember what it was called, but I haven't gotten through the whole thing. But it's so interesting, just the way that man thinks is so much different than like people that we are used to. You know what I mean? But that's why he is who he is. You know,
Yeah.
that's why he's just like a genius, and you know, he's like Albert Einstein of our time. You know, that's kind of how I see him.
Yeah.
You know, so I love everything he does. It's super cool, and you know, it's just out there. You know, a lot of what he does is just like, that's what you're trying to do. All right, let's see how this goes. You know.
Yeah. I think having big goals, you gotta have big goals. You gotta
Oh,
set
yeah.
lights off on the impossible.
I talk about that a lot. Set massive goals. Like, what I like to tell people is, if your goal, like, if you don't feel embarrassed to tell your family your goals aren't big enough. Like, that's what I like to say. You know, because it should be like big enough goals when people are like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, I got those goals. So, and I get up every day and I strive towards them, and yeah, like that's what gets me out of bed and gets me excited every day, you know? So it's so powerful.
Yeah.
So tell us more about what you were working on now. You know, you're getting your business going, so I would like, you know, everybody to know what you do, so then we can see how you can help them.
Yes. So when we like are talking about the territory of like self-improvement and personal development and even self-help, I can even, you know, cross into even health and wellness and fitness. These are all areas where we are like, quote unquote, like working on ourselves, right? We're trying to better our sense of self, or improve the quality of our life in some field or capacity. And I was really inspired, and also how do I say this gently, like frustrated by a lack of efficiency, cohesiveness. By the way, and I go back to how public school is kind of structured, where things are kind of segmented into these compartments
There you go.
around bettering ourselves. The idea of, okay, if we're here, it can only be this, and walled off to all this. And if it struck me as very inefficient, and my inner Elon Musk was like, it could be better. It could be better.
Yeah.
And all these things like mindset, and I was looking at the whole terrain without silos, and really saw that this is conscious evolution from a really big picture level.
Yeah.
All different ways that we consciously evolve something in our body, mind, spirit, any dimension.
Yep.
And so what I invented, now looking back, because I didn't know what I was doing in the throes of it, of course, but looking back and now marketing it, what I was addressing was, rather than the branches, and like Elon Musk inspired, like going to first principles, going to the root of something. I was really inspired to ask the question, what is the actual operating system of evolution?
Oh.
Big question that, like, I'm a big picture. That it's a very big question. And where this research took me was, of course, there's natural selection, that Darwinian look at evolution. And I found a lot of validity there for the science of it. And then we go to survival of the fittest. That's what I really identified with, as that is the core operating system that's kind of running the species. And it has gotten us this far. It is not bad. It has allowed our civilization to reach this technological potential and speed.
Mm-hmm.
But what I was hitting in this research, in this investigation, was its limits and its bottlenecks.
Yep.
The same way if we were to use a computer from the 90s right now, it would be so slow and chug and crash. And that's what I feel is happening to the species when we talk about mental health, depression, lack of passion, malnourished passion.
Yep.
And we're talking energy here. Passion is energy.
Oh, yeah.
And I truly feel that passion is the fuel of human energy, right?
Yep.
Because it's something that does distinguish us from animals and machines.
Yep.
Is the soul and passion, right? That's so imperative here.
Oh, yeah.
So bringing this around, I know I'm a little long-winded sometimes, but bringing it around, I was inspired to invent a challenger operating system to survival of the fittest, something to help shift and upgrade us from a fear-driven way of living. Because if you look at survival of the fittest from this big picture, it's fear, it's scarcity, competition, threat based. You know, it's always looking out for the next threat, and us versus them, scarcity of reason. Like, it is a very tight way of living, and it's a low quality as far as I'm concerned, because there's no joy in that.
And if anybody wants proof of this, just go watch the news. It's all there. You know, it's
a fear porn as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, like I haven't watched the news in at least 2 years because it's negative. I don't want negativity in my mind, so I just don't watch.
Yep. Fear and negativity is what we at the Passion Company are addressing with this new operating system called imagination technology. This is, if we're calling survival of the fittest the operating system for natural selection, which is, I'm a powerless human being, and evolution is randomized mutations in which I have no say in, right? That's helpless and small. I'm inadequate, and I'm scared to walk around because a tiger might kill me at any moment, sort of vibe, right?
Yep.
And that powerlessness of natural selection is just randomized mutation when it's all said and done. Imagination technology is an operating system for conscious evolution. What we were laying out earlier as all the ways that we improve the quality of our life, more positivity, more passion, more agency, freedom to exist more as our natural, passionate self rather than fear, constrained. And it lowers the performance and the bandwidth of our connection. And it makes everything separate. Body, mind, and spirit are all these separate domains that no cohesion. So imagination technology is a whole new architecture that takes the body, mind, and spirit as one system that it's actually designed as. And improves the processing, the performance. It opens it up. It's more love. It's a love space rather than a fear space. And we feel, because our mission is big, like you said, set big goals, right? Our mission is to reduce fear and negativity on this planet and help accelerate conscious evolution in human beings. Like, you've already done the conscious evolution, right? You don't tune to the fear news frequencies anymore, right? You've consciously said, not for me. It doesn't taste good, right?
Exactly.
That's conscious. Like, you have a choice there, right? To say,
we all do.
We all do, but
Mm-hmm.
not any of us exercise that
Exactly.
or see the choice. The Go ahead.
And a lot of us don't know.
Exactly.
You don't know what you don't know. I love that saying. You don't know what you don't know. It's people like us that need to make it known. That's why I do what I do. Most of my content is about what you've been talking about.
Yes.
Mindset, like all of that. That's what I'm all about. That's why I was so looking forward to this because I knew it was going to be just awesome.
Yes.
And and another thing that goes along with everything you're doing, is purpose. People need to have a purpose in life. I feel like only about 10% of everybody on this planet have a actual purpose, or a purpose that they know. You know what I mean? Like, I believe that we all have a purpose. It's just if we find it in time. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is such a important word, a term, and again, which is why I love to do interviews like this too, is because we help get the word out, raise awareness on something, to give people more passion and freedom to indulge in that space of self-discovery. Because again, this is why I feel the new operating system is the fastest and most effective. Because if we're still operating from survival of the fittest, we are using information in a very binary way, and we're using it in a very old school way of gather, like hunter-gatherer. We're gathering all this information,
and not using it.
Adding it onto this big old plate, not knowing how to use it, and then we're all the way, stacked on there, and then we're like, where's my purpose? And of course, you're not going to be able to see it because you're still operating and you're trying to change things from up here. Whereas if you go to the operating system level, you're no longer just gathering information. You're shifting away from information technology to imagination technology, and you're able to more effectively entertain purpose from a not information based way. It's I don't know if that makes sense to people, but it's like a change in architecture, like what Apple did with going from Intel to Apple Silicon. It's the architecture has to change for something new to be built on top of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and they don't teach any of this in school.
No.
And that's what's sad. Because, like, for me, I didn't know, I don't think I ever heard the term mindset until about 4 years ago. 4 years ago. And now, my mindset is my whole life. Like, as I'm focused on my mindset every day, all day long. Like, I keep my mindset positive. I have a growth mindset, like, and it's
important.
It's not anything difficult to understand. It's just I had honestly never heard of it, and I was like, "What's that?"
Yeah.
And then that's actually what got me started in everything I do now. That's what changed my whole entire life. It's just really realizing that mindset is a thing that we can control.
Yes.
That's the key. We can control it.
Yes. Yes. Oh, man. Beautifully said. Yeah, I think I'm kind of exploring. I've never actively expressed it in this way, but, looking back, I can see the fun and validity of it. But, like, we're sort of kind of on a domain of, would you say, like mind hacking? Is that like where to?
I think so. Yeah.
Right. There's biohacking, right? Like biology hacking kind of term. I love looking at terms, right? The power of terms, because that's sort of what we're talking about here when we talk about a new operating system and bettering a mindset. Is like, well, first we kind of have to look at like the mind as a computer, which I feel is the best metaphor for the tool that it is and the technology, right? Because if we're to biohack, we're kind of treating biology as its own technology that can be modified and altered and augmented, and but this is something we're kind of testing the language of, is like mind hacking for a new operating system that makes everything in conscious evolution that much mindset and healing and mastery that much more effective and fun. There's purpose now.
Yeah, and easier to understand. You know, that's something that, like, you know, when you get into your field, no matter who you are, when you're talking to your potential clients, customers, you gotta remember to speak in their language.
Yes.
And that can be hard, especially the further down the road you get into what you're doing. You kind of forget that, you know, not everybody knows these terms or thinks like you. So it's like, it's always so important to, like, use easy to understand words. So like, I love that. Mind hacking. That's, everybody can understand that. And that's what you're doing.
Yes.
You know, and you're taking control of your mind.
Yes. 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 I like to get a little bit more precise of, like, I love the language, and again, I'm not saying you're wrong or anything like that, but I love the language of science and experimentation. Like, that to me lightens up the amount of force. Like, control has a lot of force, like brute force, and it kind of, for me, I'm just saying, for me, takes away the artistry of it. The difference between a brute force hack, like brute force, and
I see what you're saying.
A technical, subtle, and we're experimenting, and it's like I love to say, I say this a lot, like in my early days of my work where I was my own test subject of, like, testing the invention. I was like taking a scalpel to my own mind and doing brain surgery. And like, what happens if I do this, or what happens if not necessarily control, but like experimenting, right? Like,
exactly.
For me, it lightens up the load, the approach.
I agree. It makes it sound less. What's the word I'm looking for? Intrusive, I guess.
Yes.
You know, like, it's like okay, let's test this out.
Yeah.
You know? So then, you know, people will be less scared, I guess. You know, because like when I got started, on this journey, you know, I was just like blown away. I was like, huh. You're telling me I can control my emotions? That's new. I didn't know we could do that. You know, I grew up, I thought emotions were just something that happened and it was okay to express them, which it is.
Yep.
But it's also okay to learn how to control them, and especially negative ones.
Yes.
Those are the ones that I focus on controlling. Like, and there's a lot of different things you can do. Like, for me, if I get worked up or upset, I take 6 deep breaths, and on each exhale, I exhale slow, like I'm breathing through a straw. And that just kind of, it brings me back and it calms me down.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Yep. Beautiful.
breathing is so important.
So
But
important.
it's the conscious conscious breathing that more people need to focus on. I think that's what I focus on every day.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, take a moment and breathe.
Yeah. In the midst of stress, you don't realize that you're holding your breath, literally.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then your brain doesn't work pretty good when it's not getting oxygen. I don't know if anybody knows that, but you kind of need oxygen. So
Indeed.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So how can people start their journey as far as with what you do? What would you recommend?
Well, we've got a few different options that we try to lay it out so that people feel like they can go at their own pace. Some people want to do the DIY. They like doing it themselves. Maybe, lone wolves like I was that don't want to necessarily kind of be told what to do. They want to learn themselves and teach themselves. So we have a DIY for this new operating system. Awesome. Then we do what we call a guided upgrade, which is basically over the course of a month, we walk you through step by step and basically a high touch, hold your hand while over the course of a month and 4 weekly sessions to really give you a guided upgrade into this new operating system. And then we have something that we've been working on for a while. That's our all-in-one tool for conscious evolution, and it's called iSelf. And it is everything that I kind of mentioned, where we do this guided upgrade, and then we give you what we call tech support for your soul to help you integrate and practice this, this conscious evolution, this shift from survival of the fittest and fear fuel to passion, and helping you refine the quality of your energy by really remembering that you have a choice, right? Sometimes we forget. And so having that safety net and support, and that's our kind of all-in-one experience, like I said. And then from there, you can crank the dial, the intensity of conscious evolution as high as you want. And we kind of support that journey to stepping back again to the big picture. What we're doing at the Passion Company, the big vision is we're laying down the pipes, the infrastructure to be the Earth's first utility provider for passion.
That's awesome.
Right?
That's
Next
awesome.
to water, gas, electricity, the Passion Company is supplying and supporting the highest quality passion. And I know that sounds maybe a little metaphysical, a little magical for some folks. That's totally okay. But we've gotten case studies that we're sharing now, beta testers for this iSelf, and if you care about the quality of your energy, we want to be the go-to source for that. And so that's kind of the menu of what we're doing.
That's awesome. And how long do you typically work with your clients? Or is this something that they can keep on going?
Both. Yeah. Good. Like I said, the DIY, you can get this operating system in a week, as fast as you want, actually. But the way we deliver it deliberately would be about a week to get, and then you have it, but then that shift to conscious evolution is a little timesome.
Yeah, nothing happens overnight, especially with things like this.
Exactly. It's something new.
I'm on year 3 or 4 and I'm still evolving. And
It's all.
that's another thing. It's not something that there's an end goal. This is something you can work on your whole entire life.
That because it's mastery.
Exactly.
Mastery is not meant to end.
No.
And that's really what when exactly what you said, that's aiming towards self mastery is what that conversation really is.
Yep.
And I could tell you in terms of building what I would have wanted, if you are looking for that space to speak that language and you don't have it, that's where a lot of our clients kind of come in, is they really can't have a conversation of evolution with anyone in their life.
Exactly.
And so to have a conscious conversation that isn't about like, I'm a broken person and I need to fix myself, or, scarcity based kind of, I'm inadequate. And like, a lot of that, it just doesn't, it's not efficient. So a lot of our long-term clients come from that like level of, a space to really have the patience and the long game. Long game, to play the long game.
Yep. Yeah, that's awesome. And you keep bringing up scarcity, and so many people live in scarcity instead of abundance. And I live in abundance. Like, I look at like, there's enough of everything. I'm never going to run out. Like, I can create anything I want. There's enough food. Like, just enough of everything. There's enough love. There's enough peace. There's just enough of everything. People think there's not.
Yes.
They think that if you take something, it's gonna, take away from something else.
Yeah.
Or from somebody else.
Yeah.
It's not really like that at all.
Right.
Like, you can have everything you want, and everybody else can do the same thing.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's
you,
awesome.
Yeah, like I want to like kind of reflect and see if it resonates, because someone might get value in the way that I kind of storytell this. But like, is that realization or insight like you're expressing the perspective of abundance, the mindset of abundance? What I see that as in terms of like a change in glasses, or like it's a perspective shift, right? Or at least maybe taking off old glasses and maybe not even putting on new, like, and seeing. To me, when I speak in a language of passion, and passion is not necessarily physical, right? It's kind of in the middle. Right. It's something that's not quite tangible, not quite. It's spicy. It's very volatile. A little bit. So to me, the way I see this shift from scarcity to abundance, because if you're just wearing science classes, just your five senses, especially with the news, it will say, okay, I can't see the money, I can't see the food, I can't. Everything is tinged through a scientific perspective and logic based, especially bodily, like being carbon based. Whereas to get to abundance, we're talking more energetic, seeing in frequencies and energy. Is that kind of what you're?
Yeah, exactly. You see more. You literally, like, okay, everybody, if you're listening, walk outside and look around you. How much money do you see? Start adding things up. There is so much money around you. Like, that's really abundance right there. Right there. Simple. Easy to understand.
Yeah.
Look at all the cars. Look at the buildings. Look at the land. Everything is money. So money, there's an abundance of money everywhere around you. Just figure out who has yours and what you have to do to go get it and earn it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was incredible. Do you have any last words of wisdom for the listeners?
I feel I'm tuning into, where people might be coming in here, what their worldview is. I drop into the wisdom of, if you are overrun by a negative worldview, as I used to be, I was
Same.
in the thick of a negative worldview, and when I say worldview, it feels bigger than you. It's the world you see and thus internalize as a mix, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm meeting someone right there at the edge of their rope of they just can't stand that negative worldview anymore, my invitation there is a entrepreneurial or even a rebellious spirit to have the courage to challenge it.
Yes.
To challenge it, and you don't necessarily have to know where it's coming from, but you're not alone with it. You can ask for help, and it is something that is not as solid as the feelings and the operating system would have you think that it is.
Exactly.
You are allowed to challenge your reality.
Yes.
And have the creative capacity to create a new one.
Yep. A whole new reality. Yes.
That, oh man, I can feel the goosebumps on that. Like the wisdom rings for me. So I hope that rings for somebody of an invitation, a possibility, and maybe just like a little porthole to poke something through.
Just get started.
Just
get started.
Yes,
like
you got it.
That's all you gotta do. Take one step.
Yes,
that's all you gotta do. One step forward.
Yes,
and then another step, and then the next step.
Yes,
and eventually your steps are gonna compound.
Yes.
That's what I went through. I was like, the more I grow, the faster I grow because I learn more, and then I can improve faster. And it's like this. It's like once you get the wheel rolling down the hill, it keeps going faster.
Yes.
And before you know it, you don't look at you'll see something negative, but you'll instantly think of a positive thing about that negative situation.
Yep.
Or a person. Somebody says something negative to you. You can take that and go, okay, and then just go, whatever, and just move on.
Yes.
But like me before, if somebody says something negative to me, man, that would be with me for days. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. It's not a way to live.
No.
So just be you, be happy, and focus on yourself.
Yes. The quality of your energy.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yep. All right. So my slogan is your abilities are infinite. What does that mean to you? And this is going to be good.
Your abilities are infinite. Man, that just steers me right into the quantum self, the limitlessness that everyone is, every soul is.
Yep.
I don't think I mentioned this, but I did a superhero comic book a few years ago as one of my artistic kind of experiments. And
Yep.
so when you say that, I immediately go to everyone that kind of has a unique superpower.
Exactly.
And it's really important to focus on discovering, like you said, purpose. It's all connected to purpose too. And man, it wells me up because I see the world in a language of passion. It is like how I navigate and see others. And so when I hear you said your abilities are infinite, what I see there is just the shining, bright, vivid soul with the cleanest energy.
Yeah. Amazing.
And that's just full passion with no fear, with fearless spirit.
Yeah.
And no matter how that manifests or expresses itself, and many of the infinite fields of the world and knowledge, and it doesn't matter. It's you see it when someone is shining.
Yep,
and
that's for sure.
And that's the magic. that's magic.
Yeah. Okay, that was awesome. I knew your answer was going to be epic, and it was. So thank you. This was really great. How can people reach out to you and find you and get in touch with you?
So I've got JeremyLasman.com for all my work and to get in touch personally with me.
Okay.
But if anything resonated on the passion front, thepassioncompany.org. That's where you can get the DIY. You can take a passion quiz to see how clean your energy is. Just explore.
I gotta do that.
Yeah. Please do explore our universe of what we're building there. And if you have any of, we're relatively new in terms of like growing right now. So by no means have we got everything locked in. So we're still learning best ways to express and get the word out, and these podcasts and things. So I would say if you have any curiosity, but you're confused about how things are laid out or where to start, simple way is just book a curiosity call. We got it right on our page. And I promise a low pressure, no pushy sales conversation where we just get to learn with each other and see if there's a fit for upgrading to this new operating system and conscious evolution. So please don't let anything hinder that. If you're curious, get closer.
Awesome. And I'll be booking a call because I want to learn more. This is
oh man, that means we hit a good marker today. That means I delivered a good job today.
Oh yeah, you did. Yep. And I'll drop all your links in the show notes,
Okay.
so everybody can find you.
Beautiful.
So, yep. So yeah. But Jeremy, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
This was so awesome.
This was a blast. This was a great conversation.
It was. It really was. If you enjoyed this show, please go ahead and share it on your Instagram story and tag me here, the Nick Yerhart. Also, go ahead and share it anywhere else that you see fit, because the only way that I can grow this is by you guys sharing it. I don't sell anything on here. I don't have any sponsors, so let's just get it out there by word of mouth and help more people. Alright, everyone, remember, your abilities are infinite.